affiliates now to Stickum, Blog TV, Real Coaching Radio TV Network, MyRx for Living, Kite TV, Receiva Internet Radio, Radio Roku, and New Media Radio and TV as our syndication channels. I also note that we're live in Germany on Kite TV. So that's very exciting. We're all having our European flair here. It adds some international dimensions to us. So we were talking before about awareness, and we got a comment in over the break about, can you define the difference between self-awareness and consciousness? Is there a distinction or a difference?
It's very difficult to distinguish between the two, because some people confuse between the two, and in different articles and books, people still are not sure what exactly they are talking about. Consciousness means more logical processes, and am I conscious to my environment? Do I see things? Self-awareness is more, the word self by itself has to do with, I'm talking about my own consciousness, because consciousness can mean I'm conscious to different things. Am I conscious about the warming of the earth, about the problems with politics? Am I conscious about what's going on in Europe with different issues? Awareness, when we talk about self-awareness, it's more, am I aware of what's going on between me and myself, and then between me and all the reality and the world around me?
Yeah.
This is why also self-awareness is a concept that hasn't been mentioned in the literature so much as consciousness, because many universities have been doing much research about consciousness, but not really about self-awareness.
Okay, thank you for the distinction. I think we've discussed a lot about what's going wrong. So how can we begin our personal journey to self-awareness? How would we start, and what's important? How do we go about doing that?
I think there are different ways to go about it, which depend on different individuals. However, the key to begin the process is to be motivated to do it. Because if I'm not motivated to change the way I behave and react, there is no reason that I will begin the process. Another thing which goes along with motivation is to having the courage, because I need to have the courage to observe myself, and we mentioned observation earlier. If I'm not used to observe myself, maybe I don't have the courage to do it because I'm afraid to find things about myself that I don't want to find out. Maybe I had, as you mentioned earlier, maybe I had my friends and relatives and family saying things to me which I never wanted to accept. And now if I will begin the process of self-awareness, I will have to see that maybe they were a little bit right. So I need motivation and I need the courage to do it.
Yeah, I noticed there's a section in your book about identifying the fears that control us. Is that part of what you're referring to there?
Yeah, part of identifying the fears is having the motivation and the courage to tell myself, do I have any fears that drive me to behave one way or another? For example, let's take Susan, for example. Suppose Susan is a person who jumps from one relationship to another all the time. People tend to abandon her. She goes and jumps into another relationship. Maybe if she would take the time to self-observe herself and to become aware of her behavior, she will begin to understand that she has a fear of loneliness, a fear of being alone. And this fear drives her to always needing to have a partner. This can relate back to what we mentioned about messages we internalize at home. Maybe she heard her mother saying all the time, a woman should have a partner. However, as long as she doesn't become aware and notices that she is driven by fear of aloneness, she will jump right into a relationship every time that somebody abandons her,